The sky changed on a Tuesday morning. People all around the world looked up and saw strange dark shapes blocking the stars. By noon, the news was everywhere. Earth was surrounded by alien ships. Frank Carter was drinking coffee at the moon base when it happened. Frank worked for the Space Force and had been on the moon for 6 months now. He liked the quiet mornings in the observatory dome where he could look out at the stars. Lieutenant Olivia Murphy ran into his office, her face pale. "Major Carter, you need to see this right now." Frank followed her to the main control room where all the screens showed the same thing. Hundreds, maybe thousands of black ships forming a ring around Earth. They looked like giant metal seeds, oval-shaped with pointed ends. "How many?" Frank asked, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. "We count at least 900 ships," Olivia said. "They just appeared. No warning, no approach. They just showed up." Frank put down his cup. "Are they doing anything?" "No, sir. They're just sitting there. But our satellites are going offline one by one." Frank reached for the communication panel. "Get me Earth Command." The call took longer than usual to connect. When General Richard Hudson finally appeared on screen, Frank could see people rushing around behind him. "Carter, I was about to call you," Hudson said. "What can you see from up there?" "They've formed a perfect blockade," Frank said. "No gaps. Every ship is exactly the same distance from the next. This isn't random. They planned this." "We're seeing the same thing," Hudson said. "All attempts at communication have failed. The CI President is preparing to address the nation." Frank looked at the screen showing Earth, his home, now wrapped in a net of alien ships. "What are our orders, sir?" "Observe and report. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage." After the call ended, Frank turned to Olivia. "Get me all the data we have. I want to know everything about these ships." Back on Earth, people reacted in different ways. Some ran to stores to buy food and water. Some went to churches to pray. Others just stayed home and watched the news, hoping for answers. In New York, Samantha Wells was called to a meeting at the United Nations. Sam was an expert in languages, especially how alien species might communicate. She had studied the few alien signals humans had detected over the years. "Dr. Wells, thank you for coming so quickly," said Secretary General Victor Okafor. Sam nodded. "What do we know so far?" "Very little. They've made no attempt to communicate. All our broadcasts go unanswered." Sam looked at the images of the ships on the screen. "Have you tried different frequencies? Light signals? Mathematical patterns?" "Everything," Okafor said. "Nothing gets a response." Sam thought for a moment. "Maybe they communicate in a way we don't understand yet. Maybe they're waiting for something." In Washington, D.C., President Natalie Richardson prepared to address the world. Her advisors argued about what she should say. "We should show strength," said Defense Secretary William Boyd. "Let them know we will defend ourselves." "We should be peaceful," said Science Advisor Grace Chen. "They could have attacked already, but they haven't." Natalie listened to both sides. Finally, she said, "I will be honest with the people. We don't know what these visitors want, but we will face this together." At 8 p.m. Eastern Time, all TV channels showed the president sitting at her desk in the Oval Office. "My fellow Americans, citizens of Earth," she began. "Today we face something no generation has faced before. Visitors from beyond our world have arrived. We do not yet know their intentions. We have tried to welcome them peacefully, but they have not responded." She paused, looking directly at the camera. "I want to be clear. We are doing everything possible to understand this situation. Our military forces are on alert, but we will not take hostile action. We ask our visitors to communicate their intentions, and we ask all citizens to remain calm and look out for one another." As the president spoke, strange things began happening to electronic devices around the world. Cell phones showed weird symbols. TV signals got mixed up. The internet slowed down. Joe Baker was a radio operator at a small station in Alaska. He noticed something strange on his equipment. The aliens weren't talking to humans, but they seemed to be talking to each other. "Hey, come look at this." Joe said to his colleague Susan Green. Susan came over. What am I looking at? These signals, Joe said, pointing to his screen. They're bouncing between the alien ships. They're communicating with each other. Susan leaned closer. Can we decode it? I don't think so. It's like nothing I've ever seen. They recorded the signals and sent them to NASA. Soon, scientists all over the world were studying the alien communications. Back on the moon, Frank Carter couldn't sleep. He stayed in the observatory, watching the alien ships. They didn't move, didn't do anything, just waited. Olivia brought him a fresh cup of coffee. Any changes? No, Frank said, but they must want something. Why surround Earth and then do nothing? Maybe it's a show of force, Olivia suggested. To scare us. It's working, Frank said. But I don't think that's it. It feels like they're waiting for something. 3 days passed. The alien ships remained in position. People on Earth tried to go back to normal life, but it was hard to forget what was hanging above them. In a lab at MIT, Professor Kevin Harris studied the alien signals with his team. These patterns are repeating, he said, like they're checking in with each other. His assistant, Beth Turner, pointed to a section of data. This part changed yesterday. See? It's like they're reporting something new. Kevin nodded slowly. They're monitoring us, studying us. But what are they looking for? On the 5th day, something new happened. One of the alien ships moved. It left its position and slowly descended toward Earth. It stopped in the upper atmosphere, hovering over the Pacific. Ocean military jets scrambled to observe it, keeping their distance as ordered. The alien ship was massive up close, at least a mile long. Its surface was completely smooth with no visible windows or doors. General Hudson called an emergency meeting. What do we think they're doing? Could be preparing to land? An intelligence? Officer suggested. Or preparing to attack, someone else said. Frank Carter, now back on Earth for the emergency, shook his head. I don't think so. If they wanted to attack, why wait? Why the show? They could have struck immediately. Then what? Are they doing? Hudson asked. Frank looked at the latest satellite images. I think they're testing something. Maybe the atmosphere. Maybe looking for something specific. As they watched, the ship rose back up to rejoin the others. But now 3 more ships broke formation and descended to different parts of Earth. One over Europe, one over Asia, and one over South America. They're expanding their search, Frank said. But for what? In her New York apartment, Samantha Wells got a phone call in the middle of the night. It was the Secretary General. Dr. Wells, we need you immediately. The aliens have finally sent us a message. Sam sat up in bed. What does it say? There was a pause on the line. That's just it. We don't know. But it was definitely directed at us. Can you come now? Sam was already getting dressed. I'm on my way. The first contact had begun, but no one knew what would happen next. Samantha Wells hurried through the empty streets of New York. It was 3 a.m, but nobody was sleeping much these days. Not with those ships hanging in the sky. The United Nations building was lit up like daytime. Armed guards checked her ID twice before letting her inside. In the main conference room, people from different countries sat around a large table. They all looked tired. Secretary General Okafor waved her over. Dr. Wells, thank you for coming so quickly. You said they sent a message? Sam asked. Okafor nodded and pointed to a screen on the wall. It came through all communication channels, at once. Radio, TV, internet, even devices that were turned off somehow received it. On the screen was a series of shapes and patterns. They didn't look like any writing Sam had ever seen. Some parts pulsed and moved like they were alive. Have you tried running it through our translation programs? Sam asked. Yes, nothing works, said a man Sam didn't know. He introduced himself as Alan Price. I work at the underwater research station in the Pacific. We received the message, first probably because one of the ships is hovering right above us. Can I see the original data? Sam asked. They gave her a tablet with the complete message. Sam studied it carefully. After an hour, she looked up. "This isn't a message to us," she said. "At least not directly. It's more like we're overhearing their conversation with each other. And I think I know why we can't understand it." Everyone leaned forward. "They don't use language the way we do," Sam explained. "They're not using symbols to represent sounds or ideas. They're sharing direct sensory data, what it feels like to be them." "How is that possible?" someone asked. Sam pointed to parts of the message. "See these patterns? They're sharing emotional states, sensory inputs, and this part here?" She paused. "I think they're afraid." "Afraid?" Okafor looked surprised. "Of us?" "I'm not sure," Sam said. "But whatever they're experiencing, it's making them nervous." While Sam worked with experts to understand the alien message, strange things were happening across the world. In Iowa, farmer Steve Lewis woke up early to check his fields. Something wasn't right with his corn. In the center of his biggest field was a perfect circle of dead plants. The corn stalks were brown and dry, like all the life had been sucked out of them. Steve walked around the circle, confused. He took pictures with his phone and sent them to the county agricultural office. By evening, government scientists were taking samples and asking questions. Steve wasn't the only one. All across the world, strange circles of dead plants appeared. Always perfect circles. Always spreading outward day by day. At NASA headquarters, scientists from around the world shared their findings in an emergency meeting. Frank Carter was there, representing the moon base observations. Gary Freeman, a biologist, showed pictures of the circles. Whatever is killing these plants, it's spreading, and it seems to be connected to the alien ships. Each circle appears directly beneath where one of their ships hovers. "Is it a weapon?" someone asked. "We don't think so," Gary said, "because look at this." He showed a new image of dead insects and small animals found inside the circles. "The effect isn't limited to plants," he explained. "It affects all life forms, but smaller organisms die faster. The process seems to break down cells at the molecular level," Frank spoke up. "What about humans? Are we at risk?" "So far, no humans have been affected," Gary said. "But we're advising everyone to stay away from these areas just in case." 2. Weeks after the aliens arrived, something new happened. One of the ships broke formation. It drifted sideways, spinning slowly. Then another did the same. And another. In the control room at Space Command, General Hudson and his team watched the screens with concern. "What's happening to them?" Hudson asked. "Unknown, sir," said the officer monitoring the situation. "But our satellites are picking up energy fluctuations from the affected ships. It's like they're losing power." Frank Carter pointed to one of the displays. "Look at that ship there. It's venting something into space." The camera zoomed in on a large ship that had dark liquid seeping from its hull, freezing instantly in the vacuum of space. "Sir," another officer called out. "The ship that descended to the Pacific is sending out some kind of distress signal. It's broadcasting on all frequencies." By the end of the third week, 30 alien ships had gone dark. They drifted in orbit, no lights, no movement. The others maintained their positions, but something was clearly wrong. President Richardson called an emergency meeting with her top advisors. "What do we know?" she asked. Defense Secretary Boyd spoke first. "Nearly 10% of the alien fleet is now disabled. Our best guess is they're experiencing some kind of system failure." "Could it be intentional?" the president asked. "Maybe they're just changing tactics." Science advisor Chen shook her head. "The evidence suggests otherwise. Those ships are dead in space, and the distress signals are getting more frequent." "What about the circles of dead vegetation?" the president asked. "They're spreading," Chen said. "But here's the interesting part. The circles only appear where the ships have been closest to Earth. It's as if something is moving from Earth to the ships." Everyone was quiet as they considered what this meant. "Are you saying," the president finally asked, "that something from Earth is affecting them, making them sick?" "It's possible," Chen said. "Earth has billions of microorganisms that have evolved here for millions of years. If the aliens have no natural immunity, Like when Europeans brought diseases to the Americas, Boyd said. Chen nodded. Exactly, but on a cosmic scale. At the underwater research station, Alan Price and his colleague Kate Nelson made a breakthrough. They had been studying water samples taken near where the alien ship hovered above the Pacific. Look at this, Kate said, pointing to her microscope. These bacteria are acting strangely. They're changing. Alan looked through the microscope. The bacteria were multiplying faster than normal, forming unusual patterns. It's like they're responding to something, Alan said. Some kind of signal or energy from the ship. And look what happens when they multiply enough, Kate said. She showed him a sample where the bacteria had completely broken down a piece of metal, similar to what they thought the alien ships were made of. My God, Alan said. Earth is fighting back. They sent their findings to NASA immediately. Within hours, scientists around the world were testing the theory. Could Earth's smallest life forms be humanity's best defense? In orbit, more alien ships showed signs of distress. Lights flickered, strange movements. More of that dark liquid leaking into space. And on Earth, people watched the sky wondering what would happen next. 1 month after the aliens arrived, almost a third of their ships were dead in space. The others kept their positions, but they were different now. Their smooth black surfaces had dull patches. Some leaked strange fluids. Others fired weapons at their own disabled ships, destroying them completely. At the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Dr. Peter Collins studied samples from the dead zones under the alien ships. Peter had spent his life studying tiny things that could hurt people. Viruses, bacteria, fungi. Now he was looking at how Earth's smallest life forms might be hurting the aliens. His colleague Maria Rodriguez brought in new samples. These are from birds that died near the Chicago dead zone, she said. Peter looked at the samples under his microscope. Same pattern as before, he said. The cells are breaking down at the molecular level. Maria nodded. But the interesting part is what's causing it. She showed him her data. These bacteria are normally harmless. They live in soil, in water, even on our skin. But something has changed them. Peter studied the data. The alien ships. They're giving off some kind of energy that's changing our bacteria, making them more aggressive, Maria said. But only against certain materials. The same materials the alien ships are made of. Peter sat back in his chair. So the aliens came. Here their energy affected our bacteria, and now those bacteria are eating their ships. And possibly the aliens themselves, Maria added. They sent their findings to the World Health Organization and every major science agency. Soon, labs around the world confirmed their theory. Earth's bacteria had become the planet's immune system against the invaders. Meanwhile, at Navy Command in San Diego, Captain Jack Williams received unusual orders. His submarine, the USS Defender, was the newest and quietest in the fleet. His mission: approach one of the alien ships that had landed in the Pacific Ocean and gather information. We'll maintain a safe distance, Jack told his crew. No one does anything without my direct order. The Defender slipped beneath the waves early the next morning. For 6 hours, they moved silently through the deep. Finally, they reached the coordinates where the alien ship had landed. Periscope up, Jack ordered. When he looked through it, he couldn't believe his eyes. The massive alien ship was half submerged in the water. Its black surface was covered with patches of green and brown growth like algae or mold. Parts of the hull seemed to be dissolving. Send the drone, Jack ordered. They launched a small underwater drone with cameras. It approached the alien ship, carefully. The images it sent back shocked everyone. The hull of the ship had holes in it. Through the holes, they could see inside. The interior was filled with strange machinery and what looked like living tissue, all connected together, but much of it was decaying, covered with the same growth that was on the outside. It's like they're part machine, part biological, said the science officer, Linda Perry. And our microbes are attacking both parts. Jack made a decision. Take us closer. I want samples of that growth. The Defender moved to within 100 yards of the alien ship. Suddenly, all the instruments went crazy. Captain, the sonar operator shouted. The alien ship is active. It's emitting some kind of pulse. Dive, Jack ordered. Emergency dive. The submarine plunged deeper just as a blast of energy shot from the alien ship. It missed them, hitting an underwater mountain instead. The explosion shook the Defender violently. Status report, Jack called out when things calmed down. Minor damage, sir. All systems functional, his executive officer reported. The alien ship? Still active, but readings are weak and getting weaker. Jack nodded. They're dying, but they can still fight. Keep your distance, but continue observation. For the next 3 days, the Defender watched as the alien ship slowly stopped moving. By the 4th day, it was completely dark and silent. Sir? Linda said, looking at her readings. The ship's hull integrity is failing. I think it's going to collapse soon from the pressure. Jack made another tough call. We're going to send divers to get samples before it's completely gone. 2. Brave divers went out in special suits. They collected samples of the growth on the alien ship and a small piece of the ship itself. As they were returning, the alien vessel made a terrible groaning sound, then broke apart. The pieces sank into the deep ocean. Back on the submarine, Jack sent a message to headquarters. Alien ship destroyed, not by us, by Earth itself. In Washington, President Richardson met with world leaders by video call. The news from around the globe was the same. The alien ships were failing. Some exploded in space, others drifted away. The ones that had landed on Earth were being eaten away by microbes. It appears, the president told the other leaders, that Earth has its own defense system. Our planet's microorganisms are proving deadly to the invaders. The German chancellor spoke up. But we need to understand why. What if this is just the first wave? What if more come? Good point, said the president. We need to study everything we can about these aliens and what's happening to them. Scientists from every country began working together. They studied the samples from the dead ships. They analyzed the changed bacteria. They tried to understand the aliens' technology. Professor Edward Grant at MIT made an important discovery when studying a piece of alien material recovered from the ocean. This isn't just a machine, he told his team. And the aliens aren't just biological beings. They're both. Some kind of hybrid. His colleague, Helen Ross, looked at the sample under an electron microscope. It's like they merged living tissue with technology. The lines between the two are blurred. Edward nodded. And that's why Earth's microbes are so effective against them. They attack both the biological parts and certain elements in their technology. Helen looked troubled. But why would advanced beings design themselves this way? Didn't they know about the risks of contamination? Maybe they've never encountered anything like Earth before, Edward suggested. Our planet has had billions of years of competitive evolution. Our microbes have been fighting each other all that time, getting stronger and more adaptable. As they talked, more reports came in. The alien ships in orbit were firing on each other now, destroying the ones that showed signs of infection. It was like they were trying to stop the spread of a disease. Sam Wells, working with a team of linguists, finally decoded more of the alien communications. She called an emergency meeting to share what she found. They're scared, she told the gathered officials. Their messages are becoming more desperate. They're calling for help, but also warning others to stay away. Warning who? Someone asked. More of their kind, Sam said. There are more out there, and Earth is now marked as dangerous. By the 2nd month, more than half of the alien fleet was gone. The night sky looked different now, with fewer black shapes blocking the stars. Earth's invisible defenders, its bacteria and viruses, continued their relentless attack on the invaders. In labs around the world, scientists worked day and night to understand what was happening. They shared their findings openly, setting aside old rivalries between countries. This was about humanity's survival. At the White House, President Richardson received daily updates. Each day brought news of more alien ships failing. Madam President, said Science Advisor Chen, we believe the aliens are implementing quarantine procedures now. Explain, the President said. The remaining operational ships are destroying their own disabled vessels. They're trying to contain whatever is affecting them. Defense Secretary Boyd added, "They've also begun broadcasting continuous signals into deep space. According to Dr. Wells, these appear to be warnings to stay away from Earth." The president looked at the latest satellite images showing the alien ships firing energy weapons at their own kind. "So they're scared of us now." "Not of us, exactly," Chen said. "Of our planet's biology. Earth is toxic to them." Later that day, Frank Carter was called to an underground facility in Nevada. The government had recovered pieces from a destroyed alien ship and created a special lab to study them. "Major Carter," said the guard at the entrance, "Dr. Grant is waiting for you inside." Frank found Edward Grant examining a piece of alien technology under powerful microscopes. Helen Ross worked at a computer nearby. "You wanted to see me?" Frank asked. Edward looked up. "Yes, you've been at the moon base. You saw the aliens arrive. We need your perspective on something." He showed Frank the material they were studying. It looked like metal but had strange flowing patterns inside, almost like blood vessels. "What do you make of this?" Edward asked. Frank studied it carefully. "It's not like any material I've seen before. It looks alive." "Exactly," Helen said. "It's a biomechanical hybrid. Part technology, part living tissue." Edward pointed to areas where the material was breaking down. "Earth's microbes are attacking both components. The biological parts are being infected like any disease, and certain bacteria are actually consuming elements in the mechanical parts." Frank looked shocked. "So the aliens themselves are likely hybrid beings too," Helen finished. "Not purely biological, not purely mechanical, some blend of both." "But why would they evolve that way?" Frank asked. Edward shrugged. "Maybe they didn't evolve. Maybe they designed themselves this way. Perhaps they thought merging with machines made them stronger, more efficient. Instead, it made them vulnerable," Frank said, "at least to Earth." Meanwhile, in the Pacific, the USS Defender continued to monitor the site where the alien ship had sunk. Captain Jack Williams ordered regular drone sweeps of the area. Something unusual was happening on the ocean floor. "Captain, you need to see this," Linda Perry said, showing him the latest drone footage. The broken pieces of the alien ship were being covered by a thick layer of glowing bacteria. The bacteria seemed to be changing as they consumed the alien material. "Is that dangerous?" Jack asked. "We don't know yet," Linda admitted. "The bacteria are evolving rapidly. They're incorporating elements from the alien technology into their own structure." Jack made a quick decision. "Collect samples, but with extreme caution. Then we're moving to a safe distance." As the submarine moved away, Jack contacted headquarters with an urgent message. "Unknown biological activity at alien crash site. Possibly dangerous evolution occurring. Recommend quarantine of area." The word quarantine was now being used by both sides, humans and aliens. Both species recognized the danger of this unexpected biological war. In Atlanta, Peter Collins and Maria Rodriguez made a startling discovery about the bacteria attacking the aliens. "Look at this," Peter said, pointing to his screen. "The bacteria aren't just destroying the alien material, they're learning from it." Maria looked at the data. "They're incorporating alien DNA or something similar into their own structure, and becoming more efficient at breaking down the alien ships," Peter added. "It's like watching evolution in fast forward." They shared their findings with the CDC director, who immediately called the president. This new development could change everything. Around the world, similar reports came in. Earth's microbes were adapting, becoming more effective against the alien invaders with each passing day. The remaining alien ships were failing faster now. Sam Wells continued working on the alien communications. With each passing day, she understood more of their strange language of sensory data and emotions. "Their messages are becoming more panicked," she told Secretary General Okafor. "They're calling for help, but also telling others of their kind to stay away." "Can we communicate with them?" Okafor asked. "Tell them we mean no harm?" Sam shook her head. "I'm not sure they would understand. Their way of thinking is so different, and besides, we aren't doing this to them. Earth is." In orbit, the aliens made a desperate move. Several ships broke formation and tried to escape Earth's gravity. Their engines flared brightly as they pushed, against the pull of the planet. Space Command tracked them. 3 ships attempting to break orbit, reported an officer to General Hudson. Any sign of weapons being prepared? Hudson asked. No, sir. They appear to be fleeing. 2 of the ships made it out of Earth's orbit. The third one's engines failed, and it began falling back toward the planet, breaking apart as it entered the Phi atmosphere. The pieces burned up, creating a spectacular light show visible across North America. The president called an emergency meeting with world leaders. 2 alien ships have escaped Earth's orbit, she told them. Our scientists believe they're trying to return to wherever they came from. Is that good or bad for us? Asked the British Prime Minister. Uncertain, the president replied. They could be running away, or they could be going for reinforcements. Or warning others to stay away, added the Indian Prime Minister. All of those are possible, the president said. Which is why I'm proposing a new global initiative. We need to prepare for any future contact. We need to understand our own biological defenses better. And we need to advance our space technology quickly. The leaders discussed the proposal, and for once they all agreed. Humanity needed to stand united and ready. The aliens had come without warning. If more came, Earth would be prepared. Meanwhile, the 2 escaped alien ships moved away from Earth. Their once smooth black surfaces were now patched and damaged. Inside, their systems were failing. The microscopic hitchhikers from Earth were still at work, breaking down the ships from the inside out. One ship exploded suddenly, scattering debris across space. The other continued moving, broadcasting a buoy, continuous warning signal. But its systems were failing too. It was only a matter of time. 6 months after the alien fleet first appeared around Earth, the last ship tried to escape. People all over the world watched as its engines glowed bright blue against the night sky. The ship wobbled as it climbed higher, fighting Earth's gravity. Then suddenly the engine sputtered and died. The massive ship broke apart, pieces burning as they fell through the atmosphere. And then there were none. The fleet that had surrounded Earth was gone. In the months that followed, humans began to understand what had happened. Scientists studied the pieces of alien technology that had fallen to Earth. They learned that the aliens had visited many planets before. Earth was just the latest in a long line of worlds they had surrounded, but Earth was different. Its long history of life, with billions of years of evolution, had created something the aliens never expected. An incredibly complex ecosystem of microorganisms that could adapt quickly to new threats. 5 years later, a special meeting was held at the United Nations. Representatives from every country attended. The mood was serious but hopeful. Earth had survived its first contact with alien life, and humans had learned important lessons. Sam Wells stood at the podium. After years of work, she had finally completed her translation of the aliens' final messages. The room went quiet as she began to speak. Thank you all for coming, she said. Today I can share with you the complete translation of the last transmission sent by the alien fleet. She touched a screen, and the original alien message appeared, full of strange patterns and pulses. Then she showed her translation. The message reads, Warning to all ships. Avoid the blue world at coordinates 27, 31, 42. This planet is deadly. Its smallest life forms destroyed our fleet. We were wrong to come here. Do not attempt contact or conquest. Repeat, the blue world is poison. The room was silent for a moment. Then someone asked, So they were planning to conquer us? Sam nodded. Based on our translations of earlier messages, yes. They had conquered other worlds before. Their plan was to surround planets, show their power, and force surrender. They never expected resistance from something they couldn't even see. Secretary General Okafor stepped forward. Dr. Wells has also translated some of their records that we recovered. These aliens had visited hundreds of planets. They had never failed before. Until they met Earth, someone said, and the room filled with quiet murmurs. Later that day, Frank Carter met with Sam, Edward Grant, and other key scientists who had studied the alien technology. They gathered in a small conference room away from the main crowd. "What have we learned?" Frank asked. Edward touched his tablet, and a hologram appeared showing the strange biomechanical material of the alien ships. "They were more advanced than us in many ways," he said. "Their technology was merged with biology in ways we're just beginning to understand. But they had a critical weakness," added Helen Ross. "Their hybrid nature made them vulnerable to biological attacks, and they had no concept of the kind of aggressive microbes that exist on Earth." Sam nodded. "From their messages, we learned they come from a world with very little microbial life. They had no natural immunities, no experience with rapid viral or bacterial evolution." Peter Collins, who had flown in from Atlanta, spoke next. "Earth's microbes attacked them like nothing they had ever experienced, and the microbes learned as they went, becoming more effective with each generation." Maria Rodriguez added, "It's like Earth itself rejected them. Our planet's immune system kicked in." Frank looked at each person in turn. "So what does this mean for our future? Will they come back? Will others come?" "The escaped ships sent warnings," Sam said. "Very clear warnings to stay away from Earth. My guess is that any intelligent species would listen. But we should be ready anyway," Frank said, and everyone nodded in agreement. In the years that followed, humanity changed. Countries worked together in ways they never had before. The knowledge gained from studying the alien technology led to new advances in medicine, energy, and space travel. The first human colony on Mars was established 8 years after the aliens left. They named it Unity. The first ship to reach Jupiter's moons followed 3 years later. Humans were moving out into their solar system, but they carried an important lesson with them. On the 10th anniversary of what people now called the Surrounding, President Richardson, now retired, gave a speech at the opening of the new Space Defense Academy. 10 years ago, visitors from another world came to Earth, she said to the gathered crowd. They came with advanced technology and overwhelming numbers. They thought their power would guarantee victory. She paused, looking up at the sky where the alien ships had once hung. But they didn't understand what Earth really is. Our planet isn't just a ball of rock and water. It's a living system billions of years in the making. Every creature here, from the largest whale to the smallest bacterium, is part of that system. And together, that system defended itself. She turned to the young cadets who would be the first class at the new academy. As we move out into space, we carry Earth with us, not just in our hearts and memories, but literally. In our bodies, in the microbes that live with us, in the plants we grow for food. We are not alone when we travel. We are Earth's children, and we carry its strength. Later that night, Frank Carter, now General Carter and head of the new Space Defense Force, stood on the academy roof looking at the stars. Sam Wells joined him there. "Thinking about them?" she asked. Frank nodded, wondering if there are others out there. Different kinds of aliens. Ones who might want to be friends rather than conquerors. "I hope so," Sam said. "The universe would be a lonely place if we were the only ones." "Not that lonely," Frank said with a small smile. "We've learned we're not even alone on our own planet. We share it with trillions of other living things." Sam laughed softly. "True, and good thing too. Or we might not be here having this conversation." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Somewhere out in that vastness, other intelligent beings might be looking back. Maybe some were planning visits of their own. But now there was a warning floating in space, a message from a once powerful fleet that had surrounded Earth and was never heard from again. The message was simple. The blue world is dangerous. Stay away. But humans knew better. Earth wasn't dangerous. Earth was home, and now as humanity reached for the stars, they carried that home with them, a shield and a strength unlike any other in the galaxy.